Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is Thursday, April 11th, 2024, and this marks the 46th day that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers has been missing from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was last seen by his mother, Katie, at 9 p.m. Sunday, February 25th, 2024, and Sebastian was reported missing at around 6:20 a.m. by Katie and Chris Proudfoot, Monday, February 26th, 2024. In this video, we are going to talk about Smiley Storey's impromptu interview with the Proudfoots. Chris Proudfoot raised his hand while Smiley was on a different live show and urged her to speak with him on her channel live. The live took place March 20th, 2024, 24 days after Sebastian was reported missing from the Proudfoots residence. Before we get started, I had to add a little commentary from one of my favorite creators, J is for Justice podcast. She had Smiley on to talk about the interview with the Proudfoots April 7th, 2024. I just really want you to hear this from the horse's mouth, and then we'll get right into it.
You did
Thank
a
you.
really good job. What was that like for you?
At first, it was kind of scary because I was on another live, and there was two other people up there. It was very unexpected. Katie or him, but it was under Katie's name, had came in that live. I asked if I could ask a question, and it was probably a rude question, but I asked it anyway. Chris says he's blunt. Well, I'm kind of blunt too. And I asked the question, and it pertained to did money and Social Security and stuff like that. I'm just like, I hope you told them or stopped if Sebastian was getting the check, at least put it on hold or something like that. And all of a sudden I was getting ring, 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 go live now, right now. And I'm like, oh my God, Chris is calling me on Messenger. And the other person said, well, they can come up here. And I'm like, and he's like, no, you're live right now. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh no, I really stepped in it. And I was really scared. I really was. He said, I did see your thing and I will come live on your chat sometime or whatever. But when I was on this live with these people, I never thought that he was going to pull me off of a live and do this impromptu like
so
this.
What do you think triggered him to wanna?
I think that if it was Katie, really, I think that he got mad about the money question because if it was her or him, they said, what money? And so anyway, I jumped down. He wanted the live right then. And I jumped down. I said, okay. And I just told him I had to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll finish my live. And when he was literally blowing up my phone when I got on live, I didn't have time to do the intro.
So he really wanted to get that out.
Yes, he did. And I think that's why he was mad. He come on there like this and was, I know that's what he was doing. Nobody's going to get on stage except for Chris Proudfoot. Chris told me he wanted to come on here. Hi.
Hello.
Okay. How are you feeling today?
Pretty terrible, to be honest with you. 24 days in, and there's a bunch of horrible things being said and a bunch of misinformation being spread, and my son is still missing. And so it's horrible. There's not a better word for it, to be honest with you.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to talk about Sebastian. Maybe we could just start there.
Yeah, I think Chris is still trying to join as well. A lot of people are accusatory when we speak. Oh, it's a lie. Oh, it's not us. And
well,
the truth is no matter what any of y'all think, I didn't do anything to my son. My husband didn't do anything to my son. We love him dearly, and we are doing everything that we can to try and find him and bring him home. And his father loves him dearly as well.
I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. Let me say that. I would not want to be in your shoes.
I wouldn't want anybody to have to be in my shoes, to be honest with you. It's nothing any parent should ever have to go through.
Right. right? People just have a lot of questions, just trying to make sense of everything.
Well,
So,
it's your opinion and you're entitled to it, obviously, but I can tell you that the pain that his father and I, and even my husband, are feeling right now is immeasurable, to be honest with you. And I have never in my life would I have ever dreamed that this would be a reality.
Hey,
Okay, guys, so right in the middle of Katie talking to Smiley about how she's feeling, Chris pops on, clears his throat, claps his hands, and says, "Hey." He's asserting his male dominance with two women, one of which is his wife, and the other is a sweet lady who, like all of us, just want to find Sebastian. Here is just one more clip with Smiley and J is for Justice looking back on the interview. Let's watch.
I'm not buying it.
Well, Jay, let me ask you, how many men has he interviewed with about this case?
Right. 0.
He came into if you guys don't know how the Smiley interview, the origin of that was, there were 4 of us. We were over on Justin's panel, me, Smiley, Josh, and Justin. And he came in to chat and demanded that Smiley get off panel and go live. And because there were 3 guys and 1 woman. And he
Oh, you
demanded
left
who?
that out, Smiley. I
demanded-
didn't know it was 3 and 1, and he wanted you end right now, and you go live, and I'm gonna go rebut this.
He did. And Smiley did great. I mean, it was, spur of the moment thing, and it was a great interview, but it struck the point right there. He wanted all of us to get down so he could go over and go on her panel because he refused to have any males.
Oh my God, I didn't know there was 3 guys on panel, and he said, "Smiley, go live."
I said,
Wow.
come up here if you want to. No, right now. now. I'm like, okay, bye, y'all.
I mean, just the way Chris operates, his behavior is atrocious, yet he wants to complain about everyone being upset with him. Thank you so much to Trevor at Trev Time for standing up and talking about Chris's toxicity. Trevor is a real man, wise beyond his years. It really solidifies what we all think about Chris when he speaks, but also it goes to show what he's really like behind the scenes. He's always trying to convince people that he's a good guy and that he's a good dad, and the self-awareness with him is at a 0. And so everyone knows Smiley does just keep talking. I didn't cut anything out. Chris interrupts the conversation and goes right in for the kill. I absolutely love how Smiley just keeps talking to Katie. And I love that she does this because Chris rudely interrupts them. All right, let's get right back into it, the rest of the interview. Here we go.
Have opinions, and there's no stone we can leave unturned. We have to think outside the box, but we all want Sebastian found.
so there's time too. Do me a favor. I got to drop out of this. I got to make a phone call real quick, and I will be back. This is one
Okay.
call. I don't
Okay.
care. I don't miss this phone call because it's my daughter.
No, you go
I will
ahead.
come
Go
back
ahead.
and hang tight. Give me about 5-10 minutes. I'll be right back.
You're fine. You're fine. We'll be here.
Is that
Yeah.
good?
You're okay. Hold on.
Hello?
That's me. I'm gonna knock you off for a minute. You just come back when you're ready. Okay. So
And
Katie,
that'll clarify that side of the question everybody's been asking. No, he does not have a restraining order from his daughter. He speaks to her, just to go ahead and clear that one out, because I know there's been a lot of talk about that as well.
he still speaks to her on the phone, as y'all see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our little girl is precious and loved, just like Sebastian.
Do you not call her y'all's daughter, since y'all call him y'all's son?
We do, and a lot of people are reading into it. It's just how we talk. Our boy, our girl, my son, my daughter, his son, his daughter. I mean, they're our children, but our children also have other parents as well. I mean, both of our children have more than just 2 parents.
Yeah. Is there a reason that Chris hasn't seen him since. I know it had to do with the work, but like, why did he say he hadn't seen Sebastian since the 1st of February?
Because that's the truth. He hadn't seen him since the beginning of February. He's working 3.5 hours away. He don't come home after work. He'd been gone since the beginning of February was the last time he was actually home. Christopher was actually home. And yes, he did see Sebastian when he come home. It's, it's just part of it when you work away, you see each other when
Yeah,
you can, but he doesn't, it's a lot to travel back and forth all the time. Like, that's not a trip that you can make, to and from every day by any means.
never come home on the weekends, like when you had Sebastian or anything like that.
Well, yeah, that's why he saw him in the beginning of February, but it wasn't every weekend.
Okay.
Because
Oh,
he works on weekends too a lot, so he can't just come home every weekend. But when he can, he does. He comes home and sees him. Because
yeah.
they have a pretty good relationship.
Did he talk on the phone with Sebastian while he was at work?
He does. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I know they talk regularly. A lot of people have their opinions, but Sebastian's got a good bond with both dads.
Oh, there he is. Look. Where do you want to start at, Chris? Are you working now, or are you just taking off, or anything like that, like for a certain amount of time?
So is this to me?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So are you asking me that, or is one of your
No,
people?
I'm asking you that. I just wondered,
Okay.
like, if you, I was just wondering, like, if you, like, are you, in fact, I'll turn my chat off for just a minute so I don't get
No,
preoccupied.
don't turn your chat off. Leave it on. It's fine.
Okay.
I
No,
mean, that way you can get all these questions coming in because, like I said, I told you, I gave you my word. I'd come on your show. I would
thank
answer
you.
questions. People ask the questions, but keep in mind, like I told y'all from the very beginning, I'm brash, I'm direct, but I'm respectful, and I ask for the same in everybody else.
Yes.
So one thing right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, really irks me with some of these folks that want to follow these YouTube, and I'm very honest about this. Somebody says I won't talk to men. It's
I
not that
said
I
that
don't want to
too.
talk.
I
Right.
said that
It's
too.
not that I don't want to talk to men. I have talked to more law enforcement men agencies in the past 24 days than I've probably ever talked to in my entire life. Same thing goes for women. So no, I don't have a problem talking to a man or talking to a woman. I appreciate everybody's assumptions or concerns, innuendos, whatever they want to be. But at the same time, I vet who I talk to. I'm not just going to open up and talk to anybody. Um, and I will put this out there. JLR, everybody wants me to talk to this guy. Explain to me, Smiley, you will probably have a better understanding of this. Explain to me why I should talk to JLR.
I just think a lot of people don't give him a chance. That's just my honest opinion. I'm
Right.
saying,
Do you know why people don't want to give this man a chance?
well, go ahead and tell me. I mean, I want your opinion.
So I'm going to tell you my personal opinion.
Okay.
Okay, this is my personal opinion. This is nobody else's, not my wife's, not anybody else's. My personal opinion.
Okay.
So I did my due diligence and I read up on Jonathan Lee
Hmm.
excuse me. I've read up on him. Not necessarily the best character in the world. When you start reading and the first thing comes up, everything that you can find on this individual. Now, I don't know him, Adam from Eve. I really don't. He don't know me, Adam from Eve. But when he opens his mouth and goes out there and starts spreading lies, and yes, lies, because unless you got hardcore evidence that I'm an abusive husband, abusive father, I've got a restraining order against me, unless you got proof, don't open your mouth because it's real simple. I don't have any of that. Good luck finding it. I've never lied to y'all. I've been open and honest. People don't like my answers, so people want to come back with their own assumptions. And I'm so, so sorry that I can't open up and give you every little piece of evidence and every little detail that we know. I am terribly sorry. It sucks because when it does and it can come out, my only question to everybody else is, when are you going to start issuing public apologies? That's not to you. That is to everybody that wants to come out and badmouth people that don't understand and don't have a clue what's going on. And I think that's pretty fair.
Their past is or what they say, if they can help you get Sebastian's name out.
So when you and I'll be honest with you, I've heard some of yours, and the toxicity that comes out of what you guys projected about me has only toxified everybody else that puts in a lead or says, well, check out the stepfather, do this, do that, call law enforcement, check this out, do this. You take a body, every time something gets reported, a body comes away from the investigation to vet because they are required to do so. And it sucks because the same answers are the same across the board. Why they won't come out and tell in the public eye, hey, all three parents have been completely vetted. All three parents have been, questioned. All of this. Why they won't come out and say it? I understand to a point. I do. But it sucks at the same time because it's extremely hurtful that me, my wife, and Seth have to live in this life, even when this is over. However it ends, we have to live this life, not everybody else.
Quite frankly, Sebastian's going to find out what everybody's been saying about his parents, and I can't even imagine how distraught he's going to be, but we have to find him.
I mean, and it sucks.
I want to just side note, he's not clapping, y'all.
He's not what?
People keep saying that he's clapping. He's not clapping. That's just background noise.
Oh, I don't hear any. Y'all.
Some people have heard they're clapping, and that's fine. Yes, I'm currently working.
Yeah, y'all.
Now, where understand people, where I work is really nobody's business. And I would hope you would respect that because I'm not this criminal. I'm not this monster that everybody wants to believe. But I do believe in privacy and respect, and it goes both ways.
Yeah, I don't feel anybody should be going to anybody's job or anything like that. Now, a harder question. It has nothing to do with you and their questions you don't like, and whether you're in here.
No, it's not that I don't like them. I don't want anybody to start thinking that there's not questions I don't like. I've told y'all from the very beginning I welcome all of your questions. The only thing is because of an ongoing investigation, there are certain things that we are not and have been told by law enforcement, do not get into specifics because it could jeopardize the investigation. People don't like that, and I am sorry. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not going to speak for my wife. I'm not going to speak for Sebastian's father, Seth, his mother, his sister, or anybody for that matter. But, I do welcome the hard questions. I do.
Well,
and I'm okay with it. And for the record, I don't have a problem talking with JLR or anybody else. Now, if you're one of these shows that are for profit, you want to talk, you go out and publicly announce it publicly that any money that you make on the show, as long as me and my wife are involved, that money gets directly posted to signs, flyers, or billboards to help find our son. I'll do it. But if it's for personal gain, it ain't happening.
Nobody is going to dictate my money ever. Like somebody just gave me $10. I spent that today in gas and going and getting flyers and doing whatever just on Sebastian. That's where I know you just said that. So
right, but that you're not monetizing on. You're utilizing it to do something to put it forward. Right. If those people who want to pocket money, on the other hand, I'm not about pocket. I'm not lining your pockets.
Right. No,
I'm
get that.
I'm going to be very respectful because I don't want to say it like I would normally say it. But I
Oh,
tell
say it.
everybody,
Feel free.
well, no, because if there are some folks that don't like cussing,
Well, hey,
but understand something, and I'm respectful about it because I'm being positive here. But if you don't feed me, finance me, or sleep with me, I don't owe anything to anybody at that point. You
well,
know,
I think we kind of think alike there, and I
see,
don't you have to take in consideration him going to all these places, not just to help Sebastian, but all these other people. That's not free. Saying,
right? But if I'm on his show, we're talking about my son's case. I understand there is a situation of my son, not everybody else's. And I know he's doing his thing, and I appreciate it. What I don't appreciate is some of the stuff he does put out there that when I've asked the guy, I said, do you have proof? Do you have physical evidence that I am anything what you say? And he doesn't. So then keep my name out of your mouth. It's real simple.
and then you don't want him, like if he does this, because he's there now. So, and you don't want him to monetize on that, he's talking about your son, correct?
Yeah, if he's going to monetize, take that money, go buy flyers, go buy yard signs, put it on the billboards.
Okay. All right.
I mean, and that's fair. He wants me on the show. That's fine. Then I want a public acknowledgement that you're going to donate every dollar that you make off of my son's show to finding him.
Okay.
That's fair.
One other thing, because
yes, ma'am.
Before we kind of get started, and the only reason is because fair's fair, and I want to say this. Listen, no matter what happened, don't jump on me yet. I'm not finished with my statement.
Oh, I'm not. You're fine.
If it was an accident, if it was he walked off, if he crawled off, if it was, no matter what it was,
right.
I feel for everybody. Okay, I do feel for his mom, and I'm going to say this: when she said, "Can y'all stop or ask Chris to stop saying that that's his son, because it's not, and it kills Seth, even though he don't say anything." I just wanted to say what you had to say about that.
Well, let's put it this way. I'm a stepdad to a 15-year-old young man. Okay. I came in Sebastian's life roughly, he was like 7, 8-ish. And I helped raise him, and I still help raise him. And I have a daughter, since everybody wants to know, who lives with my ex-wife out in New Mexico. Her mother has another man that lives with her. Now, whether or not they're married, I don't know. That's not my business personally. Okay?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, they were not married. But my daughter refers to him as daddy. Now, what does a child calling a person got to do with anything? Because as long as a child is being correctly raised and not hurt and loved, then what does it matter? He's my stepson. He does not call me dad. He does not call me father. He doesn't say it. He calls me Mr. Chris. I have always left that open for him. He does not have to call me anything he does not want to, except for late for dinner, because that ain't happening.
Okay.
Even Seth calls Chris his dad, his stepdad. So his mother has her opinions, and that's that.
And unfortunately, I hate that family disputes. And I don't care what it is. When something in your life becomes so publicized and it's so dramatic, people find a way to turn and find ways to just make it the worst thing even worse. Just because, and it sucks. It truly sucks.
I personally think we should all be working together to find Sebastian, because Sebastian is an awesome person who deserves to be home.
Sunday night, when you said there was a noise, What type of noise do you think that was that you heard?
I'm not honestly sure. It sounded like he was messing with stuff in his room, which was not uncommon, which is why I said, "Hey, I don't know what you're doing in there, but you're supposed to go to sleep."
Okay. So you didn't check on him at that time, but did you check on him at midnight? Did you flip the light on and look to see if he was in the bed at midnight when you got up to go to bed?
No, and because I didn't have any reason to. You know, when he was little, I used to check on him all the time, but he's older now and he's 15, and y'all can figure out why a mother may not want to necessarily pop into a teenage boy's room unexpectedly.
Seth said that when he came, that everything was in pristine condition except for his room. Like, I know that the LE was there, and he said that the LE was there. Well, I mean, what did he mean by that? Was that just like the bed was unmade, or, you know, where you looked under things, or was it like, what did he mean by that?
Sebastian's room is always a little bit messy, but even more so with all the people coming in, all the law enforcement coming in and looking through things, me looking through things, like everybody was searching everything.
So I have a question then real quick. So
Yeah.
you're asking that question, is that because there's somebody's trying to insinuate that we tried to cover something up because the house was clean? Or
No.
I
It's
mean,
just
and please understand why I'm asking that question, because whether my house is dirty or clean really doesn't matter. But okay, I'm just trying to understand this.
okay. Well, I'll explain it to you. It's
Okay.
because I have a son that is autistic. He's 28 now, but I know it's all different types of children on the autism spectrum, but but they like stuff in order.
Right. So me asking that question back is
Mhm.
because you've got a lot of viewers. I'm not saying your viewers. So let's make that super clear so that viewers don't get that
Um,
construed with anything. But there's so many people out there with their insinuations, and because you asked that question, it would not surprise me to see a comment. Well, that's because they cleaned the house before the cops got there. Trust me, we have seen it all, heard it all. People are putting stuff out there that is completely obtuse from from the truth, and it is ridiculous.
Or tell me about the snake. I
Okay,
understand
so right.
anymore.
So to answer your question about the snakes, I'll start at the beginning of the snakes. So I viewed long time ago. I actually used to breed reptiles, snakes, gargoyle, reptile, all kinds of stuff. You name it, just about reptiles. I used to breed it. Love reptiles, one of my favorite things.
Hmm.
In California, we actually had a snake. Um, they had a bearded dragon. It died.
Hmm.
Um, but we wound up getting a snake. Well, Sebastian liked it.
they is me and Bubba. We had a beardy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah. But we had a Samantine boa. Sebastian liked the idea of having a snake. Well,
Oh, he loved that thing.
he's never had one that was his snake, his own snake.
Hmm.
Um, Now, mind you, when I do something, I go all in. I don't half-ass do it. So, I purchased. However, I've got friends that are in that world still that are in that business, and we all chit chat um, and I wind up coming across. Basically, I had like about 30 snakes at one given time.
Hmm.
Um, all of them were ball pythons.
Hmm.
I didn't have anything retic. I didn't have anything massive, poisonous, or anything like that. Well, Sebastian was infatuated with one of the snakes that one of the breeders I deal with had. And it's the picture that the snake that you see in the picture that's wrapped around his arm. That
Yeah.
is his personal pastel ball python named Brownie. That is his personal snake. He loved them. The downside, like it got to a point with mom's work, my work, and I told Sebastian, I said, having a snake means responsibilities. You're going
Hmm.
to clean it. You're going to have to feed it. You're going to water it. You're going to do all that stuff.
And he
If you
actually
don't,
did.
He what, Katie?
I said, and he did for a little while.
And then he stopped.
yeah. And
Yeah.
and parenting is, and I think everybody understands this. When you're a parent, you're not your kid's best friends. You're not. That's not what your job is. Your job is to be a parent. And I told Sebastian, if you don't, she's gone. And he thought I was kidding. Nope. So when I got rid of one, I got rid of them all. Now, when I say got rid of them, a friend of mine, local in Nashville, he got them because he's a good breeder, great guy. And he's like, if you ever want him, come get him, blah, blah, blah. I was like, all right, man, appreciate it. But right now, he's not doing what he's supposed to do. So right now, we're not, just hang tight with him. So we got rid of the snakes.
So did his dad not want them, or you couldn't take them to his dad's or anything so he could see them when they're there? I just wondered.
No, his
Well,
dad couldn't take him.
well, his dad wasn't going to take 30 snakes. I mean, because 30 snakes, you're talking a big old rack, all kinds of stuff. I mean, and you've got to deal with the food, which is going to be rats and things like that. People don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, to this day, I call my buddy. You know, if Sebastian wants to go, I can call him up. We'll head over to his snake, his big old snake. He's got a building full of them, and that's where ours are. And he's like, if you want to see him, just come on over, man. Whatever, just call me up. Cool. I mean, it's.
It wasn't like he would never get to see it again. It was just
right. Lessons have to be taught. I'm a very firm believer. You know, it is what it is. You know, is it always gone forever? No, not necessarily. But you're going to earn it back. It's not just going to be handed to you.
How did you discipline him?
Sebastian in general?
Yeah.
Well, that depends. The punishment has to fit the crime, so to speak. I'll give you an example. Cleaning his room.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going to make me sound like I'm so horrible. But I promise you, folks, you try this with your kids one time, and you won't ever have a problem with this again. So if you tell them to clean their room, and they go in there and they clean their room, well, they say come out, well, it's clean. And you go in there and you go to check their room, and the room's not clean. Okay. Thought I told you to clean this room. You told us the room is clean, did you not? Well, yes, sir. Okay. Now I'm going to clean your room. And you know exactly what that means. I go in and I go grab a trash bag. I walk back in that bedroom. If it's on the floor and it's not supposed to be on the floor, it's not picked up and put in the right places, goes in the trash bag. If it's not important enough for you to take care of and pick up, I'll take care of it for you. Throw in the trash bag. Tie it up. I've done this to him twice. One time, Mom talked me out of it. The other time, Sebastian, here's the bag. Go put it in the trash can. And then you're going to take the trash can to the street. And after that, Sebastian, did you clean your room? Well, your mom told you to clean your room. Did you clean the room? Yes or no? Well, yes, sir. Is it clean the way it's supposed to be? Well, no, sir. Then I suggest you go back in there and clean it, or I'm coming in there in the next 10 minutes and I'm cleaning. Yes, sir. Hauls butt to that bedroom, and by God, that room is clean the way it's supposed to be. Now, it sounds crazy, but I promise you, you try it with your kids, man, your kids are going to be like, oh my God, they ain't kidding. It works amazing.
Do you feel like that he was ever a burden at all on you or your relationship, either one of you?
Was my stepson a burden in my marriage?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
No. The burden, so what has always been a struggle, and anybody who's married and has you're a step parent. Okay. That struggle of
That's a
being able
struggle
to,
itself.
yes, very much. And then you've got discipline on top of it, and what you can do, what you can't do, with because you've got the other parent and this parent. That's always a struggle. When you can get on the same page with each other,
Hmm.
and finally everybody understands it, man, it is a beautiful picture. Beautiful. Now, am I saying everything's sunshine and rainbows? No, it's not. But it ain't high tides and tsunamis either.
So if you and his mom ever argued, would Sebastian ever jump between y'all?
Like physically?
Yeah.
No.
We
No.
don't fight and yell and scream or any of that like violent type stuff. We tend to take it behind closed door in our bedroom and have a conversation because the children should never be exposed to that. That's between us, not them.
And first off, like this, I'm going to make this real clear, crystal clear. I was always raised, you never strike a woman. And
But
I have
has
taught that to Sebastian. You will never strike a woman,
Mhm.
period.
Seth has said that Katie, and again, Katie has struck Seth. And that, again, that's a long time. I wasn't there. So,
No. Um,
And I wasn't there either, for the record. Just so
yeah, so maybe Katie should answer this. I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
Katie should just answer
no.
this.
That, oh Lord, no. That is a whole nother thing that happened back then.
Yeah. Well, that's what brought me to my question. So I was just wondering if, Sebastian stepped in. And then I had heard at another place where Seth had said Sebastian would step in. And I didn't even know if he was talking about that or not, because I heard about that separate, that Sebastian would step in and say, don't do this to my dad or whatever. And he could be talking about something totally different.
Okay, guys, that was just insane. But anyway, so when we think of all of the drama that has surrounded this case, we can't forget that the Proudfoots going on all of these podcasts and lying their asses off didn't help matters very much at all. And that's always the topic of the conversation and the narrative they push right off the bat. Everyone is lying but them. Katie's baseline has been steady from the beginning, but she's very monotone, robotic, almost spacey. She has remained soft spoken, often ice cold, but there is something underneath Katie's steady demeanor. Like that little giggle and that laugh that she did when Smiley brought up that she struck Seth in the past. Is Katie an innocent mother who doesn't know where her child is, or does she know exactly what she's doing? I'm really starting to think that Katie Proudfoot, as much as she loves her son Sebastian, loves her husband Chris much more. Unfortunately, the dynamic is very common, and it's not just women, it's been seen in men as well. Their spouse feels inadequate to their child. And when their spouse is a narcissist, the narcissist always wins. So all the attention and love that the mother should be giving the child is demanded by the narcissist. In this case, Chris. And yes, everybody, beware. Chris Proudfoot is lurking in the YouTube comments and on Facebook. If that doesn't give you the chills, I don't know what will. Because that's just the kind of guy Chris Proudfoot is. He's just that kind of guy, no matter what he tells you. Every time Chris slaps his hands during the interview, claps them together, I have pointed it out with Terry Crews, so you'll see him clapping through the video, and it's just pointing out that he was in fact clapping the entire time. It's amazing to me that instead of correcting Katie and letting her know that it was him clapping, Chris goes on to say that it was his co-workers clapping for him. Instead of just coming clean and telling the truth, he perpetuates a lie, and he does this with ease because he's used to lying, and so is Katie. Katie will stick up for her husband no matter what he does, and that is very worrisome. Now, 6 days after the interview, it was March 26th, 2024, JLR investigates, drives through Sebastian Rogers' neighborhood. 6 days after the podcast with the Proudfoot interview, and Chris says that JLR needs to buy signs and goes on a rant. These signs are the signs that were brought up in the Chronicles of Olivia interview, and they were the ones that his mother had a connection for. She's a realtor, and so she has a connection for yard signs, and they made a bunch of them. They were so blessed to have them. Well, I'm not so sure because I didn't see one single yard sign, and I can show you more in the next video, so definitely come back and see that. This is the biggest lie I've caught these two in, and I'm not happy about it. Talk about horrible, Katie. Now, Sebastian's pet snake, Brownie. When Smiley asks Chris what happened to Sebastian's pet snake, Brownie, Chris started bragging about how he used Brownie as a teaching moment, but what he didn't realize is that it failed miserably. Not because Sebastian lost his snake privileges, but because Chris failed to teach Sebastian in a teaching moment. He had every opportunity to show Sebastian the correct way to care for the snakes. We know this because he went on and on about how he had all this knowledge of snakes and reptiles, and how he has friends in the reptile world and the snake world and all of this other nonsense. It's utterly disgusting, and it took me forever to edit because it made me so angry and sad and heartbroken for Sebastian. According to Katie, everything started out really well with his pet snake. Her name was Brownie. But as time went by, and as most parents know, your child's pet eventually, even if it's their quote-unquote personal pet, becomes your responsibility too, to a certain extent. And that's any child that you're teaching responsibility of caring for something else. They're just learning. So they're just learning the responsibility of caring for something or someone else other than themselves. There is one exception that we're dealing with here. When Sebastian was a baby, he was diagnosed with a rare form of chromosomal deletion, which is known as 6q27 chromosomal deletion syndrome. This means that Sebastian is missing a piece of that particular chromosome, 6q27. Now, from what I know and researched about this syndrome, is that it causes social and emotional dysregulation, like his mother explained in the third interview, which means it's very difficult for him to express himself in ways that are sociably acceptable, and often has awkwardness in social situations, which does mirror a lot of autistic behaviors and struggles or signs and symptoms of autism. Sebastian was diagnosed with autism later in his life, and it makes me wonder if it's because of a lot of the symptoms and signs of autism mirror the 6q27 chromosomal deletion syndrome. Now, this causes learning disabilities, impulse control issues, and not always understanding social cues. Like Katie said, she was trying to teach him how to match other people's energies. This also means that it was very difficult for Sebastian to hit milestones like the other children his age. His father, Seth, said that Sebastian had difficulty with the concept of time. He said that he would forget to look at the clock, or he would get into something and become so immersed in what he was doing, even if the activity that he wanted to do was something that he really enjoyed and he was very excited about, he would completely forget about it because he would lose track of time. So he was working with him so that he could have an easier flow of his activities of daily living, and he wouldn't struggle so much with them. For parents of a child with special needs, one of the most difficult issues they have to deal with is knowing that they aren't going to live forever. And so making sure that their child is self-sufficient as they can be, and to help their child as much as they can, it's always on the forefront of their minds. I know it had to be on the forefront of Katie and Seth's minds, knowing that Sebastian struggled so much that they wanted to help him succeed. After all, when things don't come easy and you finally reach your goal, it makes it all the more sweeter. For people with special needs, every milestone is a big one because a lot of times they are never expected to do as well as they do. Chris's way of disciplining Sebastian by taking a trash bag and throwing away his personal items and then making him walk them to the end of the driveway for the trash man to pick up, adding insult to injury. The level of coercive control used to discipline Sebastian is off the charts. Chris's drill sergeant approach with Sebastian is overkill. It's ridiculous. It's appalling, and it makes me sick. Because of what we do know about Sebastian's emotional dysregulation struggles, it is inexcusable for Chris to expect such things out of Sebastian. Sebastian already experiences so much trouble due to these dysregulation issues, and Chris piling on top of that inevitably would stress Sebastian out more. It's appalling, like I said, that he would antagonize a child that is already having trouble socializing. That can't have helped the way that Sebastian learned to trust others. You don't treat somebody with diminished mental capacity like you would an 18-year-old fresh into boot camp. Today it's been 46 days since Sebastian went missing from the Proudfoot residence, with no clues, with all the lies perpetuated by the Proudfoot's bold-faced lies that they have no problem perpetuating, leaves us with a 15-year-old boy who is nowhere to be found. I can't help but think that there was a lost opportunity to get evidence from the scene of what's turned out to be a crime. I understand that there's a couple different scenarios that are possible and probable when it comes to this case. 1, he was like Elizabeth Smart and was stolen out of his bed that night. Possible but not probable. With the issues that Sebastian had caused by his diagnoses, that is not likely. It's not likely that someone would take on a responsibility like kidnapping Sebastian would bring. However, anything is possible. Scenario 2, Sebastian ran away. Again, it's possible but not probable. Sebastian didn't take anything with him, not a bag, not a phone, not shoes, not snacks, not water, and his father Seth saying he didn't understand the concept of time. He also doesn't think that's very probable that Sebastian planned an escape. What may be possible is that Sebastian just wanted to leave and get out of the house quickly and get to his dad. So he took off down the road. However, there is no camera footage of Sebastian walking through the neighborhood or out of his neighborhood on Sunday, February 25th or 26th. Third scenario, Sebastian was hurt by his mother, Katie. And now I really hope this is not the case, but she was the last one with him. And if no one came and took him out of his home, then she's got to be the prime suspect. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was planned. Either way, there's little evidence that we do have, and it points to her. Unless her husband, Chris, somehow snuck in, stole Sebastian, hurt him, and Katie has no clue. What do you guys think? What happened to Sebastian? Where is Sebastian? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Now, because the Smiley interview was 2 hours all cut up, I am going to do it in parts. So this will be part 1, and then I'll be dropping part 2, so be sure to look out for that. I hope you enjoy the bombshell evidence from JLR Investigates. I couldn't have done that without him and his footage. I wouldn't have never made that connection because I don't live in Tennessee, and I just want to leave you all with a quote from one of my favorite people, and it's from Maya Angelou, and it goes, When people show you their true colors, believe them. And trust me when I say, if you don't believe the Proudfoots' true colors that were exposed in today's episode, you may think differently once you get into the rest of Smiley's interview. But even if we don't agree, drop a line in the comments and let's talk about it. Let me know what you think, because this is a total mystery and it's totally unfair to Sebastian. Thank you all so much. Everyone take care. This is Lady Freedom. I'll see you next time.